We need to fully understand it's time for us to step into our power as a planetary race and not see the borders anymore. Now, I would not be that opposed to a global government if it was set up with a constitution like the U.S. Constitution and an absolute Bill of Rights. But even then, that's not a guarantee. Because if people don't defend those rights, if people don't defend their liberties, what good is it? We've just experienced that. Okay? We've just experienced that. And in 1913, when the Federal Reserve took over, that's when the train started going the other way. And here we are. $100 trillion in debt. An absolutely ridiculous number. Okay? It's probably higher. Who knows? Okay? Now, in creating our holographic model of a civilization or a social structure, do we want to have a monetary system? Do we actually need a monetary system? Because we're the only ones that I'm aware of in our galaxy that still use a monetary system. Okay? In fact, many, many years ago, I had been asked by Morin Emphasis to put together a short presentation on money. They already knew about it, but I did the best that I could. And when it was over, Faseus just looked at me and he goes, "I don't understand." And I said, "Well, what do you not understand?" He says, "I don't understand why you have to pay to live on a planet you were born on." Okay? And ladies and gentlemen, that has haunted me ever since. And just that one little thing takes you completely out of the box. Okay? For the first time, you begin to think, well, geez, what would it look like not to have a currency? You know? Advanced civilizations, all their needs are taken care of. All of their standard day-to-day life needs are met by the government. No strings attached. And then you donate your time and your expertise and your skills to do something you want that benefits the whole. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about communism either. It's something bigger than that. Okay? But we need some help in defining what that is. Now, we have a lot of really brilliant, intelligent people here and in the world. And I know other people around the world have been talking about similar things, creating a different society, and maybe even a holographic society, and what that looks like, a holographic power structure. So no matter what happens, it will totally always stand on its own. The Founding Fathers tried to do something like this when they created all the states as equal, in control, and separate from the government. That was pretty much their intent, whether they realized it or not. I also want you to know that we have a lot of help. We are getting a lot of help from the spiritual side as well as the dimensional side. And I'm not talking about just dimensional beings. I am talking about also extraterrestrials. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. The vision at Valley Forge of George Washington. I know that a lot of people on the net, if you've not researched it, I suggest that you do. Some say it's a hoax. It's not a hoax. I also want you to know that Thomas Jefferson, in his diaries, was out walking at his estate in Monticello, was trying to figure out the verbiage, the language, in regards to the Declaration of Independence, when he was met by a hooded man who he never really clearly saw, who gave him the conversation and the pieces that he needed to finish the Declaration of Independence. I also want you to know that in the Constitutional Hall, when everybody was bantering and going back and forth, and it looked like no one was going to sign the Declaration of Independence, up on the top railing of the hall, a man appeared out of nowhere, and for 20 minutes gave an oration about how important this was, not only to the United States and to the moment, but to the entire world as a whole. And as soon as he was done, everybody rushed to the table and signed the Declaration of Independence. Benjamin Franklin and the Sergeant-at-Arms went upstairs to try to talk to this man because they wanted to know who he was. There were armed guards at every single door. The armed guards swore no one went in, no one went out. So there is divine providence here, ladies and gentlemen. It is not a mistake that you live in this country. It is not a mistake that you are who you are. Enough is enough. It is time we step into our power. And very simple steps will do this. First, you have to make a decision. And the decision is no more bullshit. Okay? No more bullshit. Okay? America is the reason it is because we allowed it to happen. By our apathy. Okay? We have elections. We know we're voting for the lesser of two evils. We know that. But we do it anyway. Okay? I also want you to know that the President of the United States is not in charge of our government. Okay? He's just not. I want you to know that there are 47 layers of top secret clearances above the President of the United States. 47 layers. You want to know your secret government? That's your secret government. He can't even get a clearance. He doesn't even know who to talk to get a clearance to find out about this stuff. Okay? So, it is important that we turn our focus a little bit and we start creating something different. This is what the founders did. This is what many people have done throughout the world. Okay, the Renaissance was something exactly like this. Okay? They threw off Rome and they tried to do something different. Rome, the church, the government of Rome. They threw it off and they tried to create something different. And it went for a while. Okay? Mentoring. The conversation in the exopolitics community, in my personal opinion, is no longer do UFOs exist. It's completely irrelevant. Okay? We already know they do. Where do they come from? That has some validity. Is it metal? That doesn't have any validity. It doesn't matter. Okay? What matters is, why are they here? And what can we do to learn from this experience? Now, the reason that many of the extraterrestrial groups benevolent are not talking to the government is because they know they're compromised. I will tell you that there has begun some mentoring off-world of our military. Off-world. It has begun. But that is such a small piece. What really needs to happen is we need to create a new domain of knowing, and we need to call this information directly to ourselves. No more middleman. No more middlemen. Okay? They can't be trusted. We have to do it ourselves. Now, how do we go about that? I don't have all those pieces. The idea was to share it and plant the seed inside of all of you to start thinking about what does mentoring look like. How would you imagine extraterrestrials coming down and saying, okay, folks, you have pollution. We can help you with that, but these are the steps you need to do. Here's the technology that already exists on your planet to do this. And here is how you need to use it responsibly. Again, self-responsibility. Food, the growing of food. Water. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the technology to have all the drinking water we want. Just build desalination plants. We have all the water we need. But they won't spend a dime